Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence. Today I want to talk a little bit about your past and how there's that sort of version of you that exists in the past that you no longer completely identify with. Obviously you know that that was really you that went out and did those things, and there might have been things that you did that you were proud of, but that whole essence of you from that time in the past just seems like almost a different person, like a person that you could meet down the pub and have a conversation with them, and you would have disagreements and that kind of thing, right? So I look at myself about 5-10 years ago, right? And the version of me that I can sort of relate to is sort of weird, because there's stuff in there that I can still see fragments of now, because it is me and I am constantly developing, and with those developments come new things that are introduced as part of the development, and some things that remain the same but become more so. For instance, maybe when I was 15, I had a bit of an affinity for drawing. I liked drawing a little bit, but it wasn't really part of my personality or anything like that. I just did it every once in a while. Fast forward to, maybe now, and I draw all the time, and it's one of my main personality traits. That's just an example, by the way. I actually went the other way. I used to draw a lot more when I was 15 and stuff, and now I barely ever draw. So, your personality is malleable, and you are able to malleable it. You're able to change who you are based on what you wish yourself to be. You're able to put yourself into new situations and project that ultimate version of yourself, right? You are allowed to do that, and in fact you are encouraged to do that, right? So take a look at who you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, right? And just sort of note down the similarities and the differences. There'll be basic stuff in there, like, I don't know, maybe you liked AC/DC then, and you still like AC/DC now. Great, lovely and simple, right? Maybe you used to like going to a certain pub that has since shut. That's not really your fault that you have changed in that way. You'd probably still be going to that pub now. But say there's a pub that you liked to go to, and then you moved house, right, to another town, so you couldn't just go to that pub all the time, right? That is a development within yourself from your actions, right? So your actions have led to you putting yourself in different circumstances, and the consequences of that are that you engage with the people at this new pub and you become a slightly new person, because you are essentially an amalgamation of the people that you surround yourself with. Hence why if you hang out with a load of, like, I don't know, poets, and like people that are really like literate and they like reading and all that sort of stuff, you're probably gonna find yourself reading more just to fit in. And likewise, if you hang out with a load of football heads and you're not really into football, you'll probably find yourself engaging more with football as a result. All of those sort of things kind of apply. If you hang out with a load of egocentristic sort of busybodies that are all like, "Oh, look how brilliant I am," you'll become similar to that. If you hang out with a load of people that are incredibly, incredibly humble, you will probably reflect that, because you are a reflection of the world around you. And you have control over what that world can be. You can put yourself in new situations. You have free will. And whether we want to just get into the whole nature of like free will and whether it exists or not isn't the point of this video. The point is that we think we have free will. And as far as we're concerned, we do have free will, because we have the opportunity to do this thing, or to go here and to start doing this and start doing that, whatever, and to stop doing certain things. So we have that freedom to be able to improve ourselves in various ways, and it's up to us what those ways are. So, and who you are now isn't necessarily, if you go back to yourself 5 years ago and ask them, where do you want to be in 5 years? You might not be there. And I don't just mean in a career job sense, I mean in terms of how you saw yourself maturing. Maybe you turned into a different thing than you might have thought. Maybe you were a goth at that sort of point and now you're not, right? But you would have thought you'd have been a goth forever. And it's not like you don't like goth music anymore, you just don't really wear the leather and do the makeup much anymore, that kind of thing. So you can do so much, and you can explore so many avenues of this world with the time that you've got. And you should do that. You should try and get yourself into new situations and see what situations you work well in, what you don't work well in, and what is fun to you, what isn't fun to you. Because, I thought that I wouldn't like tapas. I've always sort of taken the piss out of tapas. Turns out I quite like it. So when I found that out, brilliant, pho. I've never had that before. I kind of just thought it was just like sort of big shitty dumplings, but apparently it's not even dumplings. It's like the noodles, sort of Vietnamese broth stuff, and it's really nice, right? But I never really considered it before. Now it's something that I quite like, and if I went more and more and embraced pho more and I started having different types of pho, it might become my favorite ever food, right? And that would become a personality trait that, you know, would then be taken off into the future. Maybe 5 years from now I get sick of pho and I start eating sushi and I get really into sushi, you know, whatever, right? But you have the capacity to take on new experiences, to try new things, and you should do that, because you're never going to progress if you just do the same thing time and time again. All that will happen is it will grow bored of that thing that you're doing time and time again, because the dopamine that it rewards you, because that's why you keep doing it, will become less and less of an actual dopamine hit, and just start being, you know, just the general thing that you do because that's what you do, and you're doing it because you do it. There's no reason for it. It's just do what you do. And that's not really any way to live. So if you look at yourself in the past, right, and see who they are and what makes them different to you, what makes them similar to you, and of those things that are similar and different, are they negative things that are similar? Are they positive things that are similar? What's going on there? Do you think that you are a better person now than you were in the past? Do you think that, you know, you're a better person compared to you 5 years ago, but you're a worse person compared to you 2 years ago, right? Maybe you're currently in a big slump, a big depressive phase, but, you know, before that you were riding high, you were really motivated, you were doing loads of stuff, and you were going out and you were a real go-getter. And then eventually it all kind of crashed and burned, and you kind of crashed and burned alongside it. You know, it's not a straight path. Maturity is not a linear progression. And if you try and force your, you know, multilateral self into a singular linear hole, you're not going to be able to put it in, right? It's just not going to work, and you shouldn't force yourself to do that. So yeah, that's basically the video. I hope you managed to get something out of it. I know it was a little bit all over the place, but I hope you managed to gain something from this. And yeah, leave your comments about, you know, where were you 5 years ago or 10 years ago? What did you think of your future self from the past, and what have you become? Are you aligned with your previous self's vision for the future? Are you different? Let me know. And thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care, and bye-bye.